And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
David Livingstone is a very famous Christian missionary who went to Africa spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. This game, it's called Livingstone, has him exploring Africa, but he's doing it for the glory of Queen Victoria, and you're trying to score the most points in a very, very Euro game. Well, there's a somewhat disconnect from the theme there, but the game itself is very fun. It's a very family-friendly style game. There's really neat components, and it fits together in a really nice package. I really enjoyed it. Let's take a look. Here's the board, which looks really nice. A picture of Africa, safari. I won't say that they give you discs to keep track of the score on the board, and those discs don't do a good job at all. You really need, I had to put cubes in my game. Other than that, I thought, again, that the component structure of this game is stunning. But the game revolves around the use of dice, which, as someone who loves dice, I'm very pleased with. So let's move the board up here briefly. You use 2 dice for each player in the game. So let's say you're playing a 4-player game. You would roll 8 dice. So let's roll these dice. You then put the dice in order, like this. 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, a 4, and a 5. And that's how you do it. Now, on the first player's turn, they choose a die. They can pick any die they want, and they can do an action. So let's say they pick 3, and they do the action associated with 3. The next player does the same thing and goes around. When it comes back to my turn, I can only pick something higher than I already picked. So if the 4 and 5 are no longer there when it comes back to my turn, I'm done. While if I pick the 1, I could possibly get 4 dice. Very unlikely, but I could possibly get 4 dice depending on what the other players picked. Higher dice are always better than the lower dice. Well, not always, but usually better. So you want to grab those first, but if you grab them, the chance of you getting only 1 or 2 dice is probable. So what does it mean? Let's say you take a die. Let's say you take the number 5 here, which is a cool one to take. That could do several things for you. For one, you can simply take 5 coins, or coins equal to the number on the die. 1 coin in this instance. Or you can pull jewels from this bag. Now they put some really fancy jewels. So here I would get to draw 5 jewels from the bag. So I pull out 5. Now blacks are worth nothing. Whites are, these clear ones are worth 1, and the blue ones are worth 3. I can immediately sell them for their value, or I can hang on to them for use later. I have to be careful as I'm holding on to them for use later, because there is a card which basically is a mind collapse, and if that card ever shows up, then I have to get rid of all the jewels that I have saved, as does every other player. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Will I, am I ready for that possibility to happen? Players also have a box in front of them, and this box is giving money back to Queen Victoria. You're allowed to put money into it anytime you want, as long as you tell everyone how much you're putting in it. Because at the end of the game, it doesn't matter how many points everybody has. If you are the person who's given the least money to the Queen, you've automatically lost. Then another thing that you can do on your turn is with the die that you have taken, you can put a tent or a campsite on the board. If I took the 5 die, for example, I would put it all the way up there in the 5 column. The cost of that is whatever it says at the bottom of the column. So for example, here it's 1. As the game progresses, finally on the other side, you're going to see that the cost is 6. When I put that up there at the end of the round, that's going to get me 5 points. So you can see putting campgrounds in different places can get you a lot of points. At the end of the game, whoever has the most camps in each column is going to get these points over here. So if you have the most camps in column 1, you're going to get 12 points. The most camps in column 5 gets you only 4. So there is some benefit to putting camps in the lower numbers. And so that's basically how the game works. I forgot to mention that you can also exchange a die to draw a special card, which will give you different special actions that you can take. One of those is trading your jewels in for money and victory points. This is why you'd want to save them. Or moving your tents around, putting your tent on any column, moving the ship back. There's a ship at the bottom of the board. It moves 1 turn, and when it gets to the end, the game's over, but you can move it back so to have a better chance. Or some cards that simply give you victory points. And so you're keeping all this together, and the game progresses, and you take the dice and grab these, and every once in a while when you're pulling gems out of the bag, you'll pull out the white gem, which means all the gems that are currently off to the side of the board that have been spent go back in the bag, and the more valuable ones, you might have a better chance of getting them or a worse chance. Everything fits together to make a real tight, real simple game.
I like this game because I like of how you're trying to save up money at the for the very end of the game, and I like how you're trying to pick out jewels and stuff.
You don't have very good luck at pulling out those jewels, do you? Man, every time Melody pulled out those, she would put 6 and she'd pull out 6 black. It just seemed like it never worked for her.
Until the very last one.
Who won the game?
I did.
Huh, that was lucky. Well, it was actually skill.
That's because I just kept on saving up money. You didn't.
Yeah, and that's why I lost the game when we played together, because I didn't give as much money to the queen, and even though I had a lot of points, I lost the game. And so, like I said, everything fits together, and those jewels are really neat. They're fun to pull out. They're big jewels. Putting the tents into different locations, it's real simple.
I like the little tents.
Yeah, I mean, the pieces look good. It's fun to put the money in the box. The theme works, although, like I said, I don't think it's technically correct. But it's a very good, maybe a little bit more than lightweight, just under medium weight family game. You want a good game to play with your family? This is one of those.
Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know why Livingstone is the name. I don't get it. Why is it called Livingstone?
Well, because Livingstone was a missionary, but you don't really do much missionary stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.